And welcome back to the Spoiler Kings. We are here to talk about Disney's Pinocchio. So,
Oh dear.
how did you like it? Did you feel like you got any new information from this movie?
Um, it just reinforced, the it just reinforced my belief that Disney really just needs to quit with these live action remakes. I liked a couple of them early on, um, but you know, this was just what what
Oh,
what is what is Robert Zemeckis doing? What is he doing at this point? What is he doing? I don't understand.
oh,
You
Eddie,
know,
this is just it's too good. I have to go ahead and just you should
team
team up with the
up with the
Korean, make the
Creed.
Gold Blue Man group. I like that. I like that. That's good.
By the way, my dude, Professor Smoke,
Yeah.
Marcus is in the house. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining.
Uh,
Um,
are you
but
surprised that they did nothing different? You know what I mean? So like I feel like this Disney they did on Disney Plus the live action is exactly the same movie as we got uh from the movie. From from the Disney movie that we have. Everything was exactly the same.
everything was pretty much exactly the same, just more. It was just so hollow.
It was yeah.
I think that's the most apt description, which is ironic. When you're making a movie about a wooden puppet boy, but it was even more hollow than its title character.
Ooh. Okay. What did you like about it?
From visually, it was great. Colors were very, very vibrant. Pinocchio himself, you've seen him in the trailer. He looked absolutely like his animated counterpart.
Mhm.
Tom Hanks did a great job as Geppetto. Joseph Gordon-Levitt voiced Jiminy Cricket. He did a really good job. Uh, in terms of the acting and the visuals, those were the standouts. So, even though I was asking what is Robert Zemeckis doing, for the most part, he never goes wrong with visuals, and unless we're talking about like that weird kind of CG motion capture movie phase he had years back with like Beowulf and Polar Express, and just really vacant and dead-eyed
Don't talk about
CGI.
Polar Express. You're gonna have people coming after you. The Tank said it was the most copy and paste of all the animated ones. Out of all the live actions, it was exactly the exact same thing. I was like, all right, so we're just going to. I mean, you didn't put any extra thought into it. It wasn't
They didn't
anything.
put any extra. And you know what the crazy thing was? Um, they suddenly rushed through the conclusion, through the end. They even leave it ambiguous as to whether or not Pinocchio becomes a real boy.
Here you go,
You know,
Randy. The Pauly Shore version is probably better. It might be more entertaining. I don't think it would be better, but it's definitely be more entertaining. I, you know what I also think about? I think that the Pinocchio is it's a story that everyone knows already.
mhm,
You know the story so well because you know what? If they would have copy and pasted the Lion King, I
mhm.
probably would have loved the live action. They just would have copy and pasted that. Uh, it's the story of Pinocchio. It's a story that we've heard since the '60s. It's the same thing over and over again. So I think that's probably also the issue.
Yeah,
It's been around
and
for 60 years.
yeah. Oh, one more thing. One other merit that I did think kind of worked was the donkey transformation scene.
Yes, yes. But visually, once again, that's visually it was really cool, and
Yeah,
that's probably the best part of the Pinocchio story.
yeah, and good kind of cautionary tale in that in that regard. You know,
Tank
Don't
says,
act like a jackass unless you
"Are
want to
you
become
gonna
one.
be?" I loved all the voices except Jiminy. The voice of Pinocchio was great, and it looked very good. I thought so. He's exactly the opposite. He didn't like Jiminy.
I liked Jiminy. I thought, like I said, I thought Joseph Gordon-Levitt did really good in that regard. Jiminy himself, from a physical standpoint, was kind of creepy to look at. Actually, really creepy to look at, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, and Andy, yeah,
Um,
we will do all three Pinocchios. Just so you know, we're doing all three.
we could even do a Pinocchio retrospect, including that one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas from back in the mid to late '90s.
And then we just rank them all.
Oh yeah,
He was like an old boomer guy. Why do we pay taxes? Like what?
yeah. What was that? Yeah, that line really like. There were some. There were these kind of winks to the audience. Like that line with the taxes. Um, honest, was it Honest John was the wolf?
Yep.
And he's thinking of a stage name for Pinocchio, and one of the names he comes up with is Chris Pine. Uh, he mentions them he mentions them being influencers. So it kind of thought it was being clever when that kind of just had me kind of cringing at that at those, but yeah, I was. It just didn't do a whole lot for me, man. It was yeah. The whole time I was just I was,
Waiting for
and
be over.
there were a lot of parts where I had to like rewind it because I kept falling asleep while watching it. I'm sitting on the couch and falling asleep, and I would have to sit up. I'm like, oh, what did I miss? I have to rewind that.
But isn't it part of it is because you know the story so much? And
Yeah,
to the point of
definitely.
we're getting three Pinocchios in 3 months. In a
Hmm.
3 month period, we're gonna get three Pinocchios.
Yeah, like
Know
yeah.
the
Why?
story.
Why? Yeah. What's with the when did Pinocchio become such a huge thing?
Is a Thousand Nerd Show. These Disney live action remakes can catch 22 for the filmmakers. Stay too close to the source material, and fans complain about lack of creativity. Yes, I agree. Stray too far, and another segment of fandom will complain it's not honoring the source. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 100% correct.
Mhm. Yeah. It was.
That's true. Easy to get the rights for old stories. But no, I mean, I think that's exactly the catch 22 you kind of put yourself in. Um, no matter what you do, you're not going to win. Even though, so like people that love Pinocchio will love that you stay close to the story because there's only one story to tell. So,
Mhm.
we've all read the books, we read all the stuff, you've seen it in Disney World, you've seen all of it. So there's only one story to tell. So if you stay too close to it, people say, well, it's just like I just said, it's just fine, I guess. I could have watched the original one on my VHS. It would have been the same exact story. It would have been the same experience.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't really see this changing moving forward. The Little Mermaid remake is just probably just going to be a copy and paste of the original. Snow White's probably going to
Well,
be the
not
same thing.
exactly a copy and paste.
Oh well, there's we all know why people out there are getting angry, but I digress. The the main narrative will pretty much be the
I
same.
wasn't ready. XXX parody comes soon. It's probably already out there right now, just so you know, Andy.
Yeah, it's probably floating around out there right now.
Oh,
um, it's difficult, no doubt. Personally, I feel like they should leave these classic animated films alone. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
I agree. Very true.
They're really
Some
making them just to make them.
I feel like when you have something that's that good, like honestly, so when I saw the Lion King, I just wanted to see the Lion King with in live action. Actually, I thought the whole time, don't do this, just don't do it. But I mean, at least you have animals. So the Jungle Book was good because you have animals and it makes sense to have live action in that sense. I thought
Yeah,
the Lion King could be that way, but then I don't want you to change the story. The focus is about it's a coming of age movie for a young boy learning how to become a man and step into the footsteps of his father left into that legacy and becoming what he's always supposed to become. It's the prodigal son. It's what is returning. Like that's what it is. So to change
yep,
that feels like it got at the point that got at the heart of what it really supposed to be at, and I didn't like that. And I guess a lot of people didn't like it. And then Beyonce, but yeah, it's Beyonce.
yeah. So
but
bad as Nala.
but this Pinocchio, I think part of it is that it feels like it's when I first saw the movie, even with the Disney version, I thought it was it was almost made to just make money for Disney. That's kind of what it was almost
Yeah,
made to do. It was there to make money, and that's kind of how I felt about this too. Like this movie is still just made to make money, and obviously because it follows the same story, so that makes sense.
yeah. It was, just like Tank said, it was pretty much a carbon copy of the original with some corners they cut. You know, like I
So
said,
like,
they couldn't even they
we're
couldn't
not going
even
to
be
read this, but you guys can read that for yourself.
clear. Yeah, like they couldn't even be clear about whether or not Pinocchio becomes a real boy. They leave that ambiguous through Jiminy Cricket's dialogue. Oh, some say that Pinocchio became a real life boy. Just tell us and show us if he became a real life boy or not.
So I watched the end, and I was like, so I watched all this for no answer,
Yeah,
for
just
nothing.
to see him morph into like a really poorly rendered CGI real boy, potentially, and then you're
Picked
like,
up on the star.
oh, he may or may not have become one. The original did it. The Jonathan Taylor Thomas version did it. I'm assuming the Pauly Shore one that I haven't had the honor of watching yet probably did it. You can't you can't
Guillermo del
you
Toro's
can't
gonna do it.
Guillermo del Toro's going to do it. You can't spend 2 extra minutes and just be upfront as to whether or not he became a real boy after going through all this trouble of making this terribly, terribly unnecessary remake, and you can't even do that.
All
For
right.
shame, Disney.
Okay. Okay. Is there a movie that you would like Disney to remake in live action?
I cannot think of one off the top of my head. Um,
I wouldn't mind seeing The Sword and the Stone.
the Sword in the Stone.
Once again, another old story, but I feel like you could do that for
I feel
kids.
like they've been trying to make that. I feel like they've been. I feel like they've been. God damn it, Andy.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Oh man.
But
Woo.
yeah, as far as animated Disney movies go, I can't think of one that from a purely visual standpoint, Treasure Planet could be dope in live action. At the very least, it would look cool.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. I'd say
Um.
Treasure Planet could look cool, or Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
But then we kind of get that with Brendan Fraser and The Rock,
What
the
Journey to the Center of the
Journey to
Earth?
the Center of Earth, and then The Rock with what's the sequel to it? I don't remember what the name of the sequel is.
Yeah.
The Lost Island or something
Journey
like that.
Yeah, Journey to the Mysterious Island or something
Mysterious
like that.
Island, yeah, exactly.
You think that really you think that falls into the category of Atlantis?
Because they were there and Atlantis was on the island. And remember, they
Okay.
found out as it was sinking, they were like, "Oh, this is where Atlantis was." And they saw the ruins, and you see that the islands has a 12,000 year rotational thing, and yeah, it's kind of like a live action thing for that. And then
Okay.
Nemo,
Yeah.
they escaped in Nemo's submarine.
Mhm. Oh, okay. That I had forgotten about because it's been a minute since I watched both of those.
All right, since our fearless leader is making me do it. uh, how will you rate this movie?
I'd say never.
Wow.
I'd say a good never. You know, like I was saying, somewhere between later and never, but no one needs to watch this. It doesn't bring anything to the table. You could watch any of the previous versions and walk away a lot more satisfied. They didn't make this for any reason other than to make it. It was a carbon copy of the original. They got lazy and cut corners. The ending kind of pissed me off. Uh, you know,
Those are all good reasons, man. I can't.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah.
I'm gonna I really want to give Robert Zemeckis the better of the doubt because he's made a ton of movies. We're talking about the man behind Back to the Future, um, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, was one of the creators of Tales from the Crypt, Death Becomes Her, which is probably my favorite dark comedy, Castaway. This guy's made countless solid material.
Hey,
So
that's
I'm
fine.
thinking,
Just like for White Sox fans, Tony La Russa won a lot of World Series. He's falling asleep in the
yeah.
dugout. Sometimes
So
it's time you pass your prime. I'm just saying.
I think, yeah, either he's past his prime, someone has some dirt on him and made him do this, or he just wants to, like pay off a house. Maybe if he has kids, he needs some extra scrap just to put him through college. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
All right, so Tank says I'm leaning never. Go watch the animated one instead. It's the same one. I like it. uh,
Yeah, go
here you
watch the
go.
animated ones.
Were there any
Watch the Doctor
Italian
Taylor.
stereotypes?
I don't recall any Italian
Geppetto?
stereotypes. You know, Geppetto didn't even really have an Italian accent. He just sounded like normal Tom Hanks, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
One thing that amused me is even though it did still take place in Italy, one of the kids who Pinocchio became friends with, Lampwick, who became the donkey in front of Pinocchio, for whatever reason they gave him like a Brooklyn accent.
But I think that's from the movie too. The
I
original
don't think he had a
animated
Brooklyn,
movie.
I don't think he had a Brooklyn accent in the original, did he?
I feel like he did. I feel like
Really?
that's what. Yeah. I have kids. I have little kids, and I'm literally going to tell them that the remake is the original movie. I'm going to go to Pinocchio, the animated one, and that's what I'm going to give them. I'm not going to give them anything else. They don't need this live action. Tom Hanks is the best part about the whole is a live action thing, just because
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
to see Tom Hanks.
yeah, yeah.
For me, I had no need for any of this stuff. I don't care. I don't understand why we're getting 3 Pinocchios right now. The story is, as I said, we all know it 1,000 times over. I don't understand it, so I'm gonna definitely give it a never.
Yeah. Good to
And
see that we're on the same page.
I might be being hard on it, but just for me, I didn't understand the need for it, so that's why I'm giving it a never.
Same, exactly. It was very much just made for the sake of being made.
And there might be some kids around here that love it, but I'll just tell them to watch the animated one, and it'll be the same thing.
Definitely, definitely.
Just my personal opinion. So, anything else for you?
I'd say when it comes to Pinocchio, that's about it. I feel like
Uh,
I've said everything I need to say about this movie.
I think we've all talked about it too much. So let's get out of here. Let's go to the next topic.